where maybe some things are still missing. And from someone that has direct experience, someone who's been there, I wanted to be able to offer 5 supports that meant all of the world to me. So for me, I've always found artificial safety in doing, and I've always overdone, overachieved, overhustled because it made me feel safe. But there's a part of me also that is a creator. I am very creative, and I am an intuitive healer. And I wanted to be able to allow those parts of me to come out rather than just the part of me that needed to work hard to feel safe. And understanding that we have to survive, but also just as equal to surviving and doing is the need for sacredness in our life. And I feel like that is what we are missing the most. I think individuals that are experiencing behind the curtain that something is missing, they're not in flow in their life, it is from a lack of having sacredness in their life. So one thing daily that has changed the amount of connection that I feel is being in ceremony and ritual daily. Daily. Rituals and ceremonies, they allow us to feel the connection with ourself, with the sacred feminine, that which is in all things. So it allows us to feel that interconnection with others. It allows us to feel that connection in nature, because the masculine does divide. The masculine wants to work for us, wants to fix for us, wants to grow and create for us, more out of a selfish gain, which is okay. But there's also that piece of the sacred feminine. She's working for the greater good. She's working for containment and for connection and for integration. So as you explore your life, how can you bring in more ritual, more sacredness? Is it ceremony? What feels like it connects you to your soul? So that's number 1. Number 2 is having a daily practice, a daily spiritual practice. And this means all of the difference, because what a daily spiritual practice allows is for you to be able to set your day with the intention from your soul. Because if you don't have that intention from your soul, what happens is you're just responding to everything happening around you. It's not necessarily true. You're just in response to what's happening. You will be unconsciously influenced by what's happening. You will just end up going with the flow. We have mirror neurons, energetics that will just allow us to flow with everything else. And a lot of those things that we're doing or ways that we're being might not be in our best interest or might not be in alignment with our truth inside. So a daily practice requires some degree of stillness. And this is the fun part is people tend to think, well, I'm doing it wrong. I'm just going to sit here and feel my breath or listen to my thoughts or be still and try to be calm. And that's not necessarily the case. Now, those things could happen sometimes, and they're lovely when they do, but it's more about being with the truth. And that's the hard thing is how do I just sit here and be with the truth of what's occurring now within me? But when we're aware of the truth, then we can discern how we want to be with that truth. Now, the second part of being in stillness is to connect with the sacred feminine. is to connect with the divine. It is that place within you that knows above all else. It is the voice that hopefully is quiet, but it's peaceful. And it's those times when it speaks, you just know it's true. There's no doubt. Where our minds can definitely play tricks on us, but the inner knowing, the inner voice, it will never. The body never lies. So it's being in stillness long enough to feel some degree of listening. And that might take a long while. Your meditations might start 5 minutes and you might not receive that for quite some time. But it's having the commitment to the divine. Wanting to do this because you want connection to a sacred life. And it teaches you about releasing control and about surrendering and trusting. And it teaches us the resiliency tools. So as alarm bells are going off within us, perhaps, we are sitting and we're being with those emotions of maybe panic or anxiety, restlessness, boredom, but we're remaining. So we're increasing our resiliency. We're increasing our ability to be aware, to be mindful, to be present. Now there's some supports that help us in sitting. Prayer, breath. You could perhaps start with some guided meditation as long as you have some period of time of just listening and being. I always like to start my meditation off with a mantra. A mantra is a declaration that I have written that is true for my soul. And I speak it out loud just as a reminder to myself of who I am and what is important to my heart. And it's a way of communing with God for me. It's a way of reminding myself how connected I am to divine source and how interconnected we all are. It's a way for me to open my heart. I then always do 5 minutes of breath work, a breath practice that helps bring about the parasympathetic, because that does help me shift from my mind, my monkey mind, my overthinking, into more of a state of being, into more of a state of rest. And I don't force it. I allow whatever is to be there. So if I'm not getting into a deep, higher state of consciousness, I just allow it to be. But I still sit. And some days I'm able to sit upwards to 30 to 45 minutes for my whole entire practice. But there's also those days, I have a early morning orientation to take my son to. Well, today it's going to be just 10 minutes. So just being able to go with the flow, but being committed to doing that morning practice. So after I sit for a period of time, I then do some inner energy work. I spend some time just feeling what's happening within me. And I would say it's not a very long time. It's just a minute of just feeling what's happening within me. I'll send bright energy and bright healing movement into my body. So I'll think about the energy and I'll send that energy through my body. I'll then think about that energy. Of course, it's love and it's light. Even though we might not be able to outwardly see it, we can definitely feel it. So I'll send that same love and light and energy through active imagination to my children before they go out in the day. I'll send it to my partner. I then might send it to some of my soul sisters. I might send it to the neighborhood. I might then expand it to the state I live in. I might send it to somebody that I know needs it. I might send it to political leaders. Just really anybody in that moment that I feel needs some more energy. I'll then send energy to my route, my morning route where I'm driving. If I'm seeing clients that day, I'll send that energy out to my clients. And then I always end with a very short mantra with the same intention as the first one, but it's very short. And it's more masculine based because it's more doing. It reminds me how my actions are going to stay in alignment with my higher self. So I end with that very short mantra, usually 1 to 2 sentences. And then I'll move into some sort of physical movement for the day. Activities that bring about ease. Doing activity that bring about daily, that bring about ease, pleasure, play, peacefulness. We have enough sympathetic nervous system happening, like activation, fight or flight. We're just in a very fast-paced society where energetically around us, we are forced to cram way too many things in our to-do list, right? Like, maybe you still live in that place where you wake up and you're already behind from your to-do list. We're required to do too much in a day, to be present with too many things, too much external stimulation, to be able to really have access to sacred feminine, which is what is happening inside of me. Where did she go? When we get too heady, when we get too busy, we just completely lose the connection to her voice, to our intuition, to our ability to trust, to feel our womb space. So what are the things that bring about that feeling of yes, please, more, yummy, all of those things that just feel so good? And I will dare say, start with maybe 1 or 2 a day, but then as time expands, make sure you're getting 10 in a day. And they're just little things, right? We're not talking about big things that take a long period of time. But where are the things that bring you peace, pleasure, play, joy, ease, that counterbalance all of the pressure that's happening and occurring outside of ourselves? It's the things that help you receive, that you're receiving, you're taking, you're bringing in. The next one is connection to your womb space. Any shaman would tell you that for a female, your womb is the most important organ. It is the place of creation and intuition. And not just the place of birthing babies, but is the place that you birth your dreams. And this is why this relates to the one previous, because it's only when you receive and you're full of nourishment, you're receiving from your friends, your family, Mother Nature, energetically, that you're receiving, that you're able to have the containment in the womb space and the intuition, the fortitude to be able to start to grow and birth what you want to bring into the world. It helps you to start to have the confidence and the ability to dream and be creative, big, and not hold yourself back in limited beliefs, to be able to really create and birth what you want to create in this world. A lot of women live in fear in their wombs, literally, like the fear, the feeling of fear is actually lodged in the womb space. So I would suggest starting to speak to this space, feel this space more, move this space more. Be very clear that this is not a space for fear, but this is a space for love and creation that is meant to be soft and supple. It's meant to feel vast. Ladies, when you are engaging in sex is a sacred energy exchange. That when you are allowing a man to come inside of you, that the energy is pure, that his energy is in the right place, that you're not taking energy into your yoni and then into your womb space that is not serving to you. So really making sure all energy, to be frank, is of serving you. It's of ease, it's of love, of connection, that begins to really nourish and sustain and cherish your womb space. Start to feel and be with it more. Give it some time. You will be amazed. The next practice is emotional alchemy. So alchemy is changing one thing to another. It is alchemizing. So this is really having the emotional intelligence and giving yourself the permission and space to feel your feelings, to feel like the emotions that are occurring inside of you. Now, these emotions can have very physical sensations, right? We know this. They can have movements, right? Energy and motion, emotions, but they can also be stuck in certain part of our bodies, which are known as samaskaras in Eastern tradition, which create changes in our energy patterns. We can have a depletion in a certain energy center or an excess because we have a samaskara. So we have this energy that we clench in our body and we hold it and we don't let it come out. So emotional alchemy is first understanding and feeling your emotions, giving yourself the space to feel them, and then starting to transmute them. And they need to have some sort of embodiment to be able to transmute that energy from one type of energy to another, maybe to a stagnant energy, to a flow state, to a stuck energy, to a movement energy. So some different ideas that you can try is first movement. So if you're feeling very stuck energetically or stuck in an emotion or a multitude of emotions, is being able to move your body. First, explore befriending your body. Because if you don't feel friendly with your body, you're really going to have a hard time allowing your body to release and transmute these emotions. So perhaps first it's just spending some time with what does it look like to be friendly to your body? So next, what are these movements? It could be dance, moving different areas of your body that you don't normally move. It could be listening to music. Music can be a powerful alchemizing tool. It could be running. Maybe it's like a run on a certain day that you just need to get out frustration, and it's like a powerful run. It could be screaming. It could be making noises with that fifth chakra, letting out whatever is held and being able to communicate your truth. It could be touch, self-touch. It could be journaling. And it could even be, in some cases, at different times, speaking, a way of getting out and transmuting that energy that you're holding somewhere in your body. So, emotional alchemy. And the last one is really connecting to that nurturing, generative mother archetype within you. This is the part of you that has unconditional regard for yourself, unconditional positive regard, has unconditional love. It is the sacred feminine because she doesn't need to do or fix or change anything. She has the capacity to be with you in whatever you're going through. And she gives you nourishment. She's the one that allows you to feel seen and heard and to have such profound value in this world. She's the one that mothers you the way that you always wanted to be mothered as a child and perhaps didn't have that. It is the way for you to relate to yourself, the way that you always wanted to be related to. She is the one that will just hold you and let you fall apart, let you be sad, let you be confused, let you feel embarrassed. She's the one that just has this huge capacity for wisdom. She doesn't need to be reactive. She doesn't need to do a single thing. She can just be with you. And she certainly doesn't give what she doesn't have. So she's the part of you that understands that receiving piece, that you have to be able to nourish yourself first. You have to be able to move through this life in a feeling of flow. And of course, there's certain times where you'll have to work hard, but you can't live that way for your whole life. The nurturing generative mother allows you that space that you need to take care of yourself inside. Kind of goes back to that very first one, is what feels connected inside, what feels sacred. What are the rituals, the ceremonies, and the things that you're doing that help you connect inside, that help you feel nourished, help you feel just the immense connection and beautifulness of this world. She's the one that makes tea for you and wraps you in a warm blanket. She's the one that says, this is really hard for you. And doesn't judge you, doesn't try to fix or change a single thing about you. She's the one that, because she has so much positive regard for herself, which is you, that she can bring that same unconditional positive regard to others. There's the awareness of her shadow and that other archetype of the shadow. And she doesn't allow that shadow part to hurt others, because she allows the shadow to be there too. She allows this part that does have the propensity to hurt somebody, or the shortcomings of your existence, the times that you act out of character. She allows all of those parts of ourselves to be seen as well, and not to have shame about them. She is the one that helps you overcome insecure coping strategies. Those coping strategies that you learned as a child to keep you safe, but you don't need them anymore. So you can go out and be seen, be heard. The nutritive generative mother. So my sacred friends, those are some tools and tips that will help you just, again, feel that connection with the divine feminine. And if you would do me a favor, like, subscribe. I do really love hearing comments. I really do try to respond. I enjoy very much getting to know you, and also, as you receive from me, allowing me to receive from you, and for you to leave comments to help all of the other sisters that watch these videos.